How you going, everyone? My name is Ben Reeve. This is the Hoops Crew on a Wednesday morning. It's preliminary final week. It is preliminary final week, and the Cats are here again. Can you believe it? 10 years out of the last 14 years for Chris Scott. We're just built for this time, aren't we? The grand final just seems like an inevitability at this point. Make it happen, the Cats. Make it happen. All right, so today on the show, got a bit to cover. I've asked the question on Twitter last night, do you believe in the football gods? Interesting. Dangerfield, there's talk that he could be offered another 2 years at the Cats. How do you feel about that? Tom Hawkins versus Shannon Neale. Where do you sit there, and do you think the Cats will pick Tom Hawkins? If not for the prelim, maybe for the grand final. We'll see how we go there. He looks like he's ready to go, but will they roll the dice? I'm going to go through some of my premiership narratives, what it might mean to some of the players, what it might mean to the club, the coaches, all that sort of stuff. If we can go all the way this year. Maybe the lid is off a little bit, but I'm going to tackle that anyway. And I'm going to finish the show with a debut of a new song that we've done for the channel, the Premiership Cow. Yes, that's right. Jeremy Cameron's Premiership Cow. He now has a song, so hopefully you'll stick around and listen to that one a little bit later on. We'll put the song on our Patreon channel as well. So thank you if you are a Patreon supporter. Get over there now if you're not. It's a 7-day free trial. And you can check out all the good stuff that we've got going on over there. All right, let's get the show started. So, as I said, the football gods, sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're not. Now, there's been some times over the years where Geelong fans would say, oh, the gods were angry that day. They were very, very angry, or that night. And other times, maybe the last 20 years, we've been pretty lucky. Sometimes the ball doesn't bounce our way in games and things like that. But for the most part, I think Geelong fans could say we've had a pretty good run. I think back to some of the dark times, though, where the gods were up there in the clouds and they weren't too happy with, for whatever reason, I don't know why, 2005, they weren't very happy with the Cats playing Sydney at the SCG, just about to book a spot in the prelim, and then the gods threw down their thunder and they said no. And the Sydney Swans win that game by a point, thanks to Nick bloody Davis. Thank you if you are watching, Nick. I nearly say Dacos every time I say his name. Dacos has taken over. That one springs to mind. Clearly the 2008 grand final, that one hurt. We're absolutely destined to be back-to-back premiers that year. It just didn't happen. Stuart Jew was possessed with the power of Hercules. Zeus made him the man on that day, or at least for about 5 minutes in the third quarter, and then took it off him again and made him into a fat bastard all over again. Hawthorn took a flag off us. Could have had 3 in a row, really. I don't know whether we may not have won the 2009 one, if not for the pain of 2008. But, that was there. But let's be honest, Cats fans, and if you are not a Geelong fan, I'm sure you've got more stories about how the football gods have conspired against your team, but we've been pretty lucky, I think. I don't know what we've done. We've been drinking that happy water from the happy fountain over the last 18 years, since 2007. We're still drinking it, and it's still happening. The gods are still happy with us. We haven't upset them yet. Hopefully we're doing everything right to keep the gods upstairs very, very happy with our football club. May that continue for a few more years. I'm hoping it will. Now, let's talk about Patrick Dangerfield, though. So, there's talk that Paddy has been offered another couple of years at the club. Now, you'd imagine that he would, if he stays for another couple of years, he'll retain the captaincy for that period, which is, I'll come to that question in a moment, but Patrick Dangerfield, another couple of years at the club. I wasn't sure if he'd go on beyond this year just because of the hamstrings issues that he's faced in the last few years. So far, so good this year with his hammy after the early twang in the first half of the year. But since then, since he's come back, the Cats have looked really good. We've got some form going at the right time of the year. Let's hope he gets through a prelim, and if we get through that game into a grand final as well, let's hope the hamstring holds together. But we're probably going to have to manage him a lot more, and his impact on games will become less and less, as it does for all legends of the game. He's now well into his into 300s. He'll be nudging 350 very soon. Will he want to push on towards 400? He probably won't get there, I wouldn't have thought. I'd imagine that Paddy will play no more than 18 games a year from this point in time in his career. So that probably gives him another 35, 36 games. If you play finals, maybe a little bit more. Hopefully that's the case. Uh, yeah, so look back to the question about the captaincy, though, and you've got a couple of guys waiting in the wings. There's probably his deputy, Tom Stewart, might get overlooked potentially if Paddy wants to go another couple of years in that role. Stewart will probably be a little bit so old at that point, I would have thought. Maybe 1 or 2 more years himself from that stage. And does the club want to give it to someone like him, or are they going to look to find someone in their mid-20s, like a Max Holmes or Jack Bowes or someone like that, or maybe someone who's not even at the club at the moment, potentially? Um, there may even be a young guy that stands up. So we're starting to get a bit of a handful of guys around that age range. Bailey Smith will be another one, maybe. I don't think Bailey Smith will be captain of the football club, but there'll be a couple of names there. So I'm interested to know what you think around that. So it is an interesting time. It's a transition period for the footy club. There's a lot of players coming and going. It's probably if Paddy can stay fit, I think it's a good thing if he can hang around a little while longer, because we are going to lose a few players. I guarantee you there's going to be a 1 or 2 more that will go at the end of this year that would otherwise have been offered a contract. So I'm not talking about guys like Parfitt and maybe Mitch Hardy that might look elsewhere, but there could be some other names out there. Reece Stanley, there hasn't been a lot of talk about him yet. Will he want to go one more? Not really sure how Toby Conway is going to go. I was hoping to see a lot more of Toby Conway this year, but we haven't seen it, unfortunately. His development's been slowed down a little bit. Does Reece want to go on another year, especially if we're lucky enough to win a flag this year? Enough for him. Maybe three flags is better than 2. Maybe do you want to keep going? That's the other thing as well. And then you've got Mitch Duncan, who will probably play on next year. Hasn't said he definitely will. He says, I think earlier on he said he was keen to keep going, but if that's still the case, I'm not sure. Another half a season goes by and maybe you change your mind a little bit. So, but yes, there could be some players that may change their mind over the period. We'll wait and see on that one. I'm not too sure there. But let's talk about this one. Tom Hawkins versus Shannon Neale. The selectors have got some decisions to make over the next few days. And I think the decision they make over the next few days will be the final call, really, on Tom Hawkins for this year. They're going to have to make a choice. Tom's fit. He's saying he's ready to go. He wants to play. Shannon Neale, ever since he's come into the side, the Cats have been flying, and that forward line looks terrific. So what do you do? Do you bring Tom back? Do you give the man his respect? And he's bled for the club, most amount of games for this club. He's already won 3 premierships. He could win 4, potentially, if we get that far. Or do you try Shannon Neale? If you base it on history, you're backing a legend to get the job done. If you base it on form this year and in the last couple of months, I think you've just got to go with Shannon Neale at this point. But that's just my opinion, and I'm not sure how the coaches think about this situation. I'm not sort of looking into the matchups too much, who the key defenders are. Harris Andrews is probably a name that comes to mind that could cause some issues. How will Shannon Neale go in his second final? He was pretty good against the Port Adelaide Power a few weeks back. How will he go against the Brisbane Lions? Is he good for the MCG? I feel like that the wide open spaces of the MCG will be great for Jezza and Shannon Neale. Tom Hawkins, I don't know if it's going to be one of those games where they'll just bomb it on top of his head. He's got if he can get off to a bit of a lead, I just don't know. And that, even if he does get out there and he's looking good, is the foot going to hold up for him? That's probably the other thing. And Chris Scott and the coaches, the selectors, didn't take a chance on Max Holmes in the prelim, the grand final 2 years ago. Will they take a chance on an absolute legend of this football club in the AFL? It's a different equation because of who he is. Max Holmes was a great player in 2022, but he definitely wasn't. He definitely didn't earn the trust, or hadn't earned the trust necessarily at that point of the coaches. It's going to be a tough one for the club. As I said, my personal opinion would be stay with Shannon Neale. I love Tom Hawkins. If we can find, if there's a chance for Tom Hawkins to play, I'm all for it. Don't get me wrong, but not at the expense of the 2 big forwards that we've got operating quite nicely at the moment. I just don't want to take that risk. If it falls apart and we don't win, I can live with that. I'll be furious, though, if they drop Shannon Neale or try the 3 tall forward setup and it fails miserably. I'll be like, what are you doing? It was working. Why did you change it? I don't know, but I'm keen to know what you think about that one. Please let me know. All right, let's do some premiership narratives now. Let me just scroll down a little bit. Just scroll down my notes here. Okay, so here we go. So the Cats, if we win it this year, and it's a big if. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this until we actually get through to a grand final, but let's just do it anyway. So if we win this, it'll be the 11th premiership at the Cats. So that'll be great. We're starting to climb. We're getting a little bit closer to the top. We are the greatest team of all, but we haven't won the most premierships of all. And that's something that I'd love to get. In saying that, I think this era has to come to an end at some stage. And do we have another 6 premierships in us during this period? Probably not. We might have to wait a little bit longer, another 100 years, to sort of bridge the gap somewhat on some of these other clubs that are probably due for some success over the next few years as well. But if we win it, Chris Scott, coach of the Cats, will win his 5th premiership. His 3rd as a coach and 2nd as a player with the Brisbane Lions back in the early noughties. Wouldn't that be good for Chris Scott? Five-time premiership coach / player. That'll be terrific. Now, if Tom Hawkins plays, and I think it's a remote possibility, as I've said, but if Tom Hawkins plays, he will join Joel Selwood as the only Geelong Football Club players to have won 4 premierships at the football club, for the football club. Now, we know Isaac Smith won 4, but he won most of those with the Scummers at Hawthorn. But no, Tom Hawkins, Joel Selwood would join Joel Selwood as the only Cats to win 4 premierships for the club. And that would be fitting if that happened. If circumstances allow that to happen, I don't want to manufacture it. I'll park that. I'll move on. But I'll be the happiest guy ever if Tom Hawkins wins another one. But I'll be very sad for whoever's missed out. I do not think the Cats are going to play 3 big talls in that grand final. I just don't see it happening if we get there, as I said. If we win it, Mitch Duncan, he wins his 3rd premiership. Can you believe it? Mitch Duncan joins the 3-time premiership club. Comes in 2011 as a sub. Kicks a goal from 50, mind you. That was good. Stevie J loved that one. And then, another one in 22 and caps it off. Well, maybe not caps it off, but wins another one, a 3rd premiership in 2024. So he'd be pretty happy with that, to join that select group of Geelong players. There's not many, really, that have won 3. There's probably some of those players from the 2007 to 2011 team. But he would join a lot of those. He'd missed out on the first 2 in 07 and 09, but he could stand tall with those other ones in the halls of history as a 3-time premiership player. There's a bunch of players that could win their 2nd, and I'll run through them. There's 16 of them, actually, and most of these are from, I think, if not all of them, are from the 2022 side, and they are Patrick Dangerfield, would be a first-time premiership captain, would join all the other premiership captains since Tom Harley before him. Tom Harley, Cameron Ling, Joel Selwood, and Patrick Dangerfield. That would be sweet if that happened. It's 2 games away from being a possibility. Can you believe it? And you'd love to be the next Geelong captain coming in after Paddy Dangerfield, knowing that's your birthright to be a premiership captain. Jeremy Cameron would win another one. Tom Stewart, Zach Tui, Reece Stanley, Jake Collard-Jasny, Mark Blitzarves, Tyson Stengel, Sam DeConning, Gary Rowan with an asterisk. I don't think he's going to play, so you can almost strike a line through Gary. He's had half of his brain ripped out. No, he had a skull surgery, so I don't know if you saw the photos on that one, but it looked horrible. Cam Guthrie, another one with an asterisk. I don't see it happening, but then Chris Scott loves him, so it's a possibility he will get picked. Maybe Zach Guthrie, absolute star this year. Brian Myers, Brad Close, and Tommy the Axe Atkins. A whole bunch of players there now. And then we're left with who hasn't won a single premiership. And the first name on this list has to be Maxwell Holmes. Wouldn't you love it if he went out there on grand final day and absolutely had a pearler, won the Norm Smith, got his first premiership? They roar from the crowd. Can you imagine the sound? Just for a moment, just go there. Number 9, Max Holmes, and the crowd just go, yeah! Because we know we all missed out in 2022, and we know how much that's been burning in his gut for the last 2 years, and for him to get up there and to win it would be fantastic. And then you got some others. Shannon Neale comes in for Tom Hawkins. Surely there'll be a shot of Tom Hawkins wiping tears away. Someone's hugging him. Ollie Dempsey. Yep. Lawson Humphreys. We all know the Lawson Humphreys story by now, playing in the Waffle Reserves last year. Comes in and wins a premiership as a 15-gamer or however many games he's played to this point. Shawnee Manor, another one in the VFL, winning best on ground on the VFL Grand Final last year. Tanner Bruin put his trust in the club, came over from GWS. Jack Bowes came over from Gold Coast. Thanks for that, Gold Coast, and getting an early draft pick too. That was nice. Ollie Henry crossed over because he was homesick from Collingwood, so celebrating with his brother as well. And a lot of Collingwood fans won't be too happy about him. But Oisin Mullen, another one with an asterisk possibly. Could be one that comes out this week, you'd imagine, with Tom Stewart likely to return to the Cats. But there's a possibility Oisin Mullen plays as well. So anyway, there's a few stories there, Cats fans. There's probably some others that I've missed as well. But yeah, let me know what you think. What are you looking forward to most? What if you can just take yourself there for a moment, what would you like to see after the siren, during the presentations, some of those emotions that we might be going through? We probably shouldn't go too far. I might be jinxing. I might be upsetting the football gods by talking about all this stuff, but that's how I roll sometimes. Whatever. What can you do? All right. Now, what I haven't done yet is give a quick shout out to our sponsor.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist, established in Geelong since 1915. Visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au. That's Cook with an E. Give them a call on 035 222 2244 or mention the Hoops Crew to get yourself 20% off your next in-store purchase when you visit them at Shop 12, 11 Leather Street in Breakwater.
Thank you to Cyril Cook Florist for that one. Make sure you get down there and get yourself some flowers. Deck your house out for grand final day. Again, we're jumping the gun, but that's okay. All right. Now, I'm going to debut a song about Jerry McCameron's Premiership Cow. It's a silly little song. We did it on this AI app, so it's a little bit cheesy, but if you don't mind a little bit of cheese at the end of this video, then stick around. Otherwise, see you later. But here we go. I'll just cue him up. There he is, the Premiership Cow, and off we go.
Oh, I was just a cow, startled by a noise, the drunken sounds of some Geelong boys. Then Jezza found me, his nettle in tow, put it round my neck, said, off you go. Moving through the paddock with my medal tonight, I'm the Premiership Cow under the moonlight. They chased me for a while, laughter in the air, a shadow in the dark, I could be anywhere. Say cows can't party, but oh how they're wrong. With a Premiership medal, I danced till dawn. If they couldn't catch me, I was too nimble and fast. In Big Jez's paddock, this cow had a blast. I was dancing on air after Premiership glory, a cow with a medal, man, oh what a story. I'm a passionate cow with a thirst for fun. Try as you might, you'll never catch me, son. Grooving in the paddock with my medal tonight, I'm the Premiership Cow under the moonlight. They chased me for a while, laughter in the air, a shadow in the dark, I could be anywhere. I was dancing on air after Premiership glory, a cow with a medal, man, oh what a story. I'm a passionate cow with a thirst for fun. Try as you might, you'll never catch me, son. Grooving in the paddock with my medal tonight, I'm the Premiership Cow under the moonlight. They chased me for a while, laughter in the air, a shadow in the dark, I could be anywhere. Now when the party ends and my night is through, I'll return that medal, bring it back to you. Take care of the Jezza, but don't forget now, the people love me, I'm the Premiership Cow.